Lindsay. How are you doing today?
Oh, stressed.
What are you stressed about?
My mother-in-law.
Okay. What's going on with your mother-in-law?
She's insane.
She's insane.
Um, my husband and I our marriage is very stressful, and I feel that the majority of our issues can be traced back to his mother.
So I'm sensing a little frustration.
Absolutely.
You feel like your mother's kind of imposing, your mother-in-law. Does she spend a lot of time with y'all?
No, I have done my best to avoid her. She attempts to be very controlling. Um,
I never knew you were a pickup man.
Hi, I'm busy. I love you. Bye. My husband.
Okay.
Um,
So she's controlling.
of her children. There's a lot of childhood trauma that she has caused. And I don't know how to fix it for my husband. She has he has more trauma by far. He was abused as a teenager, and sadly enough, I don't think that's the majority of his problems. I believe that they come from his mom. When he was abused, she got counseling for herself instead of him and his brother.
So I'm sensing a little frustration that she's focusing more on herself instead of your husband and his brother.
Yes, she seems to be very she needs attention. She's attention starved. She needs the spotlight to be on her, and she uses her children as a way to get that attention.
And how does that make you feel?
Helpless.
It makes you feel helpless.
I feel like I lack the tools to help him. I know that he needs help. He refuses to see a therapist, of course.
Can you clearly see that the trauma affects him in his daily routines, or does he act like it doesn't affect him at all?
He tries to pretend it doesn't. But I when we fight, I can see the manipulative mechanisms that he learned from her come out in our fights. And
Like they say, what you see, you do.
yes,
So
and he has learned from the best.
okay.
I have had some fights with her, and being more level-headed than my husband, I see where she is trying to manipulate us, and I refuse to fall victim to it. One of her ploys is when she doesn't get her way, she threatens to kill herself.
So that clearly brings up some frustration because she's controlling the situation through manipulation.
Yes. And my husband has learned it. He's only threatened to kill himself once, and I put a very quick stop to that. I said, if this comes up again, I will be calling the police, because either you'll learn never to say it again, or you will get the help you need. Either way, you're getting committed.
Right.
she's done that. I've seen her. She has a repertoire of manipulative mechanisms, from threatening self-harm to begging to reasoning to using their father against them. He's older than her, and he won't be around long, and if you cut ties with me, you'll never see your dad again. And
What I'm gathering is everything is based around the mother.
it is her.
Everything is centered around her, and if it's not, she makes it about her.
Yes.
Does your husband, does he notice it like you do, or does he
He does.
feel the same way about it as you do?
He does. Or very similar. However, his two brothers don't see it. So he is torn between his father.
His mother and his two brothers.
Yes. If he cut ties with his mother, he's afraid that he would also have to cut ties with his brothers and his dad.
That sounds like a very difficult decision to make for anyone.
Right. And it just so happens that my sister-in-law, his twin brother's wife, is one of my best friends. So in my head, I also fear losing a really good friend if he were to do that. But I also fear that it's the only way he will ever be
Free of that.
better.
Yeah. Free of that little hold, that connection.
Yes.
And do you ever talk with him about it? Like what you're feeling? Do you ever have like deep conversation
Frequently.
on the subject? Does it get brought up a lot?
It does. And it usually ends that we both agree something needs to be done. And in the end, we fight because he doesn't feel he's able to come to a satisfactory ending of the situation. He feels
Right, because he's in the middle and basically he's being pulled in all these directions and he doesn't want to pick one over the other because he's just stuck.
he almost feels like his only way out is if she were to pass away.
That's got to be difficult. That's got to be difficult for him.
It is. And it ends up, his frustrations come out on me because he knows I'm the only one who won't go anywhere or try to manipulate him.
He knows you're his safe spot.
Yes.
And you're always going to be that safe spot.
I hope.
For now. Well, I hope so too. So the fights start over all of this. Does it end up being terrible fights, or do you get through it by the end of the night and you're able to work through those emotions? Or is this becoming a bigger problem that...
By the end of the night, we usually go to bed angry.
Okay.
By the end of the next day, we've usually...
made
come
up
to
or apologized or...
One of our fights was the family member who had abused him was going to be at a family reunion. And his mother told him that he needed to go. And he said he did not want to face this family member. He was appalled that nothing was ever done legally to this family member. And the mother explained to him that he would go or else, because God would forgive, and so should he. And if he didn't go, she would be very mad at him and there would be hell to pay, basically. And
Oh, wow.
I know my husband well enough to know his psyche could not handle seeing that
Handle
human.
that type of a situation.
I would have had a relapsed alcoholic husband who was threatening to kill himself, and I wasn't going to put myself or our daughter through it.
All over that again.
So I told him, this is where you choose. I will not be with that man that's going to come home from there, so you tell her that I said you can't go and let her deal with me. And it ended up being a 2-day fight, but in the end he said, I know you did what's best for me, and I know she did not do what's best for me. His twin brother showed up, and the mother was drunk singing karaoke with the man who abused them.
Oh, wow.
And my sister-in-law told me it was he was not an easy human to deal with after he saw that.
Right. Well, it sounds to me like there's a lot of trauma and a lot of issues going on, and seems like you're really good for your husband and you do a lot of
Thank
good
you.
for him. And it seems like it's enough for today. So if you would like to, I'd like to set up another appointment and we could talk again
Absolutely.
soon. All
Thank
right.
you.
It's very nice to see you.